This video is to show the importance of having your query loop set up correctly. On every u3a group page, a query loop has been set up so that you can create posts and have them published here without any bother. But if we go down to the query loop on the list of blocks, you can see that within the query loop you have a number of elements. You've got post template, which describes how these posts are presented. And in this case, the by group with a title, an excerpt, a date, and they're done in columns. So you can see how it actually looks on the page. And there's also an element there at the bottom that says no results. So if you don't have any posts, there'll be a paragraph that just has a message, sorry, there are no posts currently available. So that gives you the setup for your query loop so that you can have the posts that belong to your group published. But there are some important elements in this that you need to get right to have to have your posts actually appear where you expect them to appear. So if we go back to query loop, then if we look on the right-hand side sidebar here, it tells you about what the query loop is and so on. But there are these elements that we need to think about. One of them is where it says settings, inherit query from template. You must make sure that this element is always switched off as it is here. Otherwise, it's going to pick up everything that's been set for from templates, which isn't what we want. The post type should always be set as post. As you can see, there are all sorts of options. Don't choose them, just leave it as post. So really, these things you're not interfering with, you're just checking that they are as they should be. You can decide whether you want to order your posts newest to oldest, oldest to newest, alphabetically or reverse alphabetically. If you have a post that you think is particularly important and you want to make it sticky, you can do that so that they're always at the top. That's up to you. Force page reload, just make sure that if there have been changes for posts, that they're actually picked up because the page is reloaded rather than the last version of it being picked up. The really important element is when we get down to the filters here, because this is what determines which posts appear on your page within the query loop. As you can see, we're on the bread making page and the category associated with this is bread. So the three posts that we currently have about bread have all appeared. They're all there. That's all grand. But if I just started typing something else in, if I added somebody else's categories, for instance, I know that there are some for reading group 3. If I click on that and add that to the categories, you can see immediately, not only are you showing your posts, but you're showing posts that belong to somebody else. They're all about books, so they should all be on reading group 3's page because it's the reviews of books they've read. So this is just to illustrate why it is important that you have checked under filters that the category you're using is the correct category. So I'm now going to remove the item reading group 3 and hopefully we're back there just to our normal posts that actually belong to the bread group. And that's really as much as we need to know at this point. So the key thing is when you have the query loop will have been set up for you. You could make some small amendments to it in terms of how you want it to look. You can change these elements within this. But you need to ensure that the categories on the right-hand side that come under filters are correct for your group. And you also need to make sure that the setting of inherit query from template is switched off. And if all of that is in place, all should be well. And when we look at the group as a viewer, we should see the posts that have been created for this group.